but some big news dropped before we even got into anything.
So, Jay, I don't know what you're doing this afternoon. I don't know what I'm doing this afternoon, but I'll tell you what Connor Rodgers is doing this afternoon, answering this question to every single media outlet out there. What the hell, Jets? What the hell? So we get news just before we go on the show. Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets, has been fired. So we ask our Jets insider, does pre- and post-game on SNY for the Jets, has his own Jets podcast as well. What?
It is a bit of a shock, right? I mean, because we were talking about as bad as the Jets have looked, they could have won their last two games by the last miss of each game. A missed field goal, a missed shot to Garrett Wilson. But this, to me, the Jets had an energy problem.
And they're playing for first place on Monday night. The division
says more
has been
about
great.
the AFC East, but
sure.
Still,
but my point is like you're still in this thing.
100%. The Jets play Monday Night Football against the Bills. The winner of that game will be in first place in the AFC East. The Jets had an energy problem with Robert Saleh that was kind of picked up on by everybody within the organization at the top of the organization, which I think includes Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
That could be up for debate. But the Jets had an energy problem with Saleh where why are you coming out flat with 10 days rest against the Broncos? Why are you getting blown out in the first half against the Vikings? And they scratched their way back into that game thanks to the defense. And also just the demeanor of the coach on the sideline, the undisciplined nature. Robert Saleh, this is not about this year. He's 20-36 as a head coach right now. And this was a win-now year, and the Jets are not winning enough. Now, what happens next? Listen, does this fix the Nathaniel Hackett problem in the room? That's not going to happen because Aaron Rodgers is there. That's a whole other conversation. But for Robert Saleh, the excuse-making in press conferences got tiring. All the excuses were off the table. They have the quarterback this year. And let's be real, as good as the defense has looked at times, they've also had some really flat performances stopping the run, notably week 1 against the 49ers, notably at the end of the game against the Broncos. And at some point, somebody was going to take the fall. Now, Woody Johnson does not fire coaches in season, so that's why this is a surprise. But the Jets have pushed all their chips into the table for this season, and they could not anymore go on with Robert Saleh's demeanor and the lack of preparedness this team showed.
So what do you think changes from here? Do you think anything changes, or is it just going to be more of the defense has been solid, even though it hasn't been perfect,
right,
and the offense has really struggled, and Saleh largely on the side of the defense? Do you think that this is just kind of window dressing for the Hackett problem, or what happens from here?
Well, number one, they're hoping that the team gets a shot in the arm, right? And we'll see if Jeff Ulbrich ends up being the interim coach. Jeff Ulbrich calls the defense. So nothing changes on who calls the offense, who calls the defense. I just think they needed somebody to infuse some life into a team right now that has shown no life.
Is that the idea? It's just like, hey, guys, this is when now you guys aren't this is the shot across the bow, for lack of a better way to describe it. Accountability. It is, I will say, not that I'm the greatest Robert Saleh defender, but I will say that they never had a quarterback. For them to sit there and go, look at how poorly the team performed over the last couple of, I would argue getting 7 wins out of that team last year with Tim Boyle and
Trevor
Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian under center is actually a hell of a mark. And so I get the slow start this year. Rodgers has not been great.
No.
He was great against New England, but he was bad against Minnesota.
Missed
Connor.
a lot of throws. Right. But the problem is, and we've talked about this, Aaron Rodgers is more powerful than Robert Saleh in this organization.
Clearly.
So that's what this comes down to. Now, I can't sit here and tell you there was actual friction between the two, but I would be surprised if the Jets made this move without a sign-off from their quarterback, personally.
It seemed that Saleh was in trouble after the 2-score lead thing on the sideline in the Thursday night game against the Pats. That was very much a very powerful visual indicator.
Here it is right here.
Yeah.
It was a little weird.
Yeah. It reminded me of LeBron James palming off Eric Spoelstra back in the first year of the Heatles. Worked out better for Eric Spoelstra than Robert Saleh.
That look is, I'm getting you fired in 2 weeks. Look at that. He wants to hug him. Come here. Nope. Hands off.
The stare of death.
That hug is only for Nathaniel Hackett. No, yeah. I'm going to throw out a wild rumor that I have.
You just made up?
No, theory. It's not even a rumor, I should say. Rumor makes it sound like I heard it from somebody. I'm just,
Sure.
I'm in a group chat where this came up. Do you, and not a connected group chat. Do you think Rodgers was like, go get me Devontae Adams, and Woody Johnson's like, yeah, you bet. Let's kick the tires on that. And Saleh was like, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Nathaniel Hackett. How many Rodgers buddies do we need here? It's not working. We have Mike Williams. We have Garrett. Well, we have enough weapons on offense. Just be better.
The press conference wars between them have been interesting. And when I say wars, it's you really have to look deep into it. The cadence thing from a week ago where, Saleh felt like maybe we should scale back on it. Rodgers said, how about we hold people accountable? That was our first giveaway of like, okay, they are on different tracks here right now. And I think another thing that really probably pissed off Rodgers is when Rodgers took his trip to Egypt, right, and missed the 2 practices of mandatory minicamp. Saleh came out on that press conference and was like, he will be fine. They knew about that trip for a long time, and the way Saleh presented that initially to the media did not make it seem like they knew about that trip. Right. And I think maybe there was some differences between them since then, honestly.
Yeah, that irked him. Like, he's a guy that gets irked easily.
Right, and doesn't let it go.
No.
So maybe this has been building going back to spring. Quite honestly.
I would just hate to work with Aaron Rodgers. It just feels like it would
Unless
be
you're
terrible.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like you. I mean, Saleh was in an impossible situation in a way. The team has not performed up to expectation. Last year, to your point, Matthew, like after Rodgers went down in the early part of the season, like their win total went to 5.5, and they went 7-10. Like I don't think they really underperformed at all last season with what they had. But yeah, it just seems like this was a building kind of powder keg, and it just exploded. And these past 2 games have been ugly.
It's clear. Woody Johnson's basically said Rodgers is your team, and like I would agree with you. I can't imagine this move gets made without his approval and perhaps encouragement. Last question for you here, Connor, and then we're going to get to fantasy football because this is more of a NFL conversation than a fantasy one. But I posted just for fun on Twitter. I just posted a picture of Belichick, like just no context, just a picture of Belichick. But you've seen a lot of it, right? Belichick, Vrabel, Pete Carroll's out there. Is there a chance that they try to get a big name coach here mid-season, or is that an off-season conversation? Do they go with the interim coach? Like, what do you think there? Now, again, Belichick and Woody Johnson do not get along, but on the other hand,
Belichick hates the Jets.
But Belichick also likes winning, likes getting a chance at a Super Bowl.
Really wanted to coach this year and didn't get a job.
Right, exactly. And so, I mean, the Jets give him a chance at winning a Super Bowl again without Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think Ulbrich should be the interim coach here. It sounds like it's trending that way. And I think that I don't know if the Jets, because of Rodgers in the building having all the power, have the pull for one of those big name guys. When you look at Vrabel, he's the most interesting because he has a chance to have like a second coaching career.
Sure.
Where he probably will be a little bit more selective on his situation after how things ended at Tennessee, where Pete and Belichick, they're going to go somewhere for the short term and just hope they can win it. I don't think any of those moves will happen, but it would be some storyline if that was the route they went.
Be amazing. All I know is Dan Quinn is off the table. Future coach of the year.
Pete Carroll, former coach of the Jets.
Huh?
Pete Carroll, former coach of the Jets, way back in the day. Imagine that storyline. I think that's more interesting than Belichick.
Yeah, could you imagine?
I don't think it's happening, but.
I just threw out a name out there. Rich Kotite. I'm just saying, something to think about.
This is my Halloween costume last year.
I'll
wear the costume again if that happens.
I think it's just going to be Ulbrich. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. Yeah. Right. There's a lot going on. There's a little bit of stability
just
now.
press every button possible.
Let's try Vrabel. Vrabel didn't work out.
Chaos Blender.
Belichick. Yeah.
Eric Mangini, where are you at?
Eric Mangini, revival.
Where are you at?
Oh my God. Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan, bring Rex back. Everyone, who doesn't love Rex?
Every Jets fan loves Rex.
Come on, Rex is the best.
The Chaos Blender.
Rex.
Oh boy.
Wow.
All right.
What a start to today.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.